Hey guys, it's the Autohound, and so you got the word auto because I like cars, but also hound because I got two little puppies. And this is Tebow, like the quarterback. This is Bella. He's 11 and she is 10. And we're not talking about dogs today, but I wanted to introduce you, get them on camera for their little cameo. You'll be seeing a little bit more of them in the future videos. So we're going to put them down. We're going to talk about used car values. So, I was looking at my last video and I wanted to kind of just clarify something. Used car values are going through the roof. Right now, with the amount of used cars that are out there, the market is just asking for more and more and more and more. Sadly, there's just not enough of them to go around. So what you're going to do is you're going to wind up doing a Toyota, a Honda, or a Chevy, or a Ford. When you buy a Toyota or a Honda, you're going to be spending a little bit more money in front, but you'll be making that up in the resale time when you go to get rid of the car. As far as a Chevrolet, a Honda, a Chevrolet, a Ford, or a Dodge, you're going to pay a little bit less up front, and you're going to get a lot less in the return. So when we're looking at that, what makes more sense to you? I have no problem with American cars. I have a problem with how they're made. I had a friend of mine who had a Plymouth Prowler. Very, very pretty car. The first week he had it, we're driving around in it, and screws were falling out of the bottom of the dashboard. And that was pretty much the norm. And I just never could quite understand why an American car maker just wouldn't care anymore. Gone are the days when General Motors could produce anything that they wanted, the Chevrolet Vega. Ford could produce anything that they wanted, the Ford Pinto. Dodge could produce anything that they wanted, the Plymouth Horizon. And people would just buy them. They'd get 60, 70, 80,000 miles out of them and throw them away and get a new car. But cars, as I indicated in the last video, brand new, are about $38,000. Versus $27,000 for a used car. So now I'm spending 27 grand on a used car, and I'm really wanting to make sure I get the best bang for my buck. So what am I going to buy? I'm going to buy the car that's reliable. I'm going to buy the car that has the best service history. I'm going to buy the car that makes sure that I'm going to be in it for the longest period of time with the least amount of upkeep and expenditure. Now, here's where it comes tricky. You walk into a car dealership, a used car dealership, and you're going to find two things. Number one, overpriced cars. They're all overpriced. You've got to haggle, and you have to know what you're doing when you're haggling, and that's going to be in another video. When I look at haggling and how people do it, I get a little bit kind of shaky inside because I don't understand why you wouldn't fight for every nickel. The dealership has the money. Fight with them for that. I recently was helping somebody purchase a Toyota Camry, a 2006 Toyota Camry. Had 113,000 miles. The dealership wanted $5,000 for it. I told them it was an all-cash offer, $3,000, take it or leave it. And they kept haggling back and forth, and I was really firm with my number. And the big lie comes in. The sales manager comes over. Don't you know about these cars? This is the #1 selling car out there. You're correct, it is the #1 selling car out there. And I know the exact resale value of the vehicle. And I know what it's worth because I just looked it up on my phone. Everybody should go to any app that's out there at KBB, NADA, any of the blue books. Look at it. Look at the true car value. And you'll see that they are making insane amounts of money on this car. The car dealership has to sell you that car for the price that they put out there because that's the price that they want. It's not the price that they paid for it. Most of these cars come in through trade-in and or auction. Some dealerships don't sell auction cars, and I respect those dealerships because they just don't want to deal with the hassle or the headache of that car coming back. So the big lie comes in when the sales manager believes that you know nothing about cars and they know everything about cars. They know everything about that car and what they spent to bring it in, not what they're going to lose or make when it goes out the door. So I'm going to ask you as the consumer, if you owned a business, what would you rather make? Would you rather make $500 or $300? Clearly you're going to want the $500. So the dealership is going to mark it up the best that they can to get the most profit that they can for themselves, because remember, they have all this overhead and they have to pay that salesperson. And that salesperson might make, instead of $250 on that, $150. Well, still $150, not bad for 45 minutes of work of dealing with a guy like me, versus somebody else who walks in and will just pay sticker price or will pay whatever the dealership asks for. And I've seen that way too much and it bothers me. So that's the big lie. The scam is when they sell you a car or try to sell you a car and they misrepresent the facts of the car. You need to look at three things when you're buying a used car. Number one, pop that hood. Look inside the frame, right on the front where the fenders are. On both sides, you will see if that frame has ever been bent or bumped out of shape, just because you'll see some rust where it would have creased. If you see that, walk away. The car is not worth your time. Number two, look down at the CV boots or the rubber boots that are down inside the wheel well. If they're cracked, don't buy the car. All that dirt and salt and corrosion has gotten inside those. If they're cracked, they're going to need to be replaced, and that's really expensive. That's about $1,000 per side in some cases. Avoid that. And the third biggest thing that you need to check is you need to check the battery. Eric, how do I check a battery? Well, when you go to start the car, does it start up instantly? 3 times. Try it 3 times. If it doesn't start all 3 times, it's not worth your time. Check the oil, check under the oil cap to see if there's any white stuff. But usually the good savvy car dealerships, they wipe all that stuff off. Everything is clean inside the engine. But those are the big 3 things that they miss. So make sure you're checking for all 3 of those. The other thing that you need to notice is that I didn't mention European cars. I own a European car. Actually, I own 2. I own a Jaguar and I own a Porsche. I would never buy a Jaguar used, ever, in a million years. I want to get rid of the one that I have. The car has mechanical gremlins. Years ago, they used to have Lucas Electronics, and the old joke was, oh, you drive a Jaguar, what's your other car? And I kind of feel the same way with this one. We've had some issues with this car. The dealership has been very good in sorting it out, but we've had issues. My Porsche, it's expensive to fix. There's nothing more expensive in the world than a cheap Porsche. I've said it before, I'll keep saying it. Here's what you need to understand. I won't buy a used foreign car from over in Europe ever again. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to buy a Land Rover, a Jaguar. I'm not going to buy another used Porsche. I'm not going to buy a Volkswagen. I had nothing but problems with my Volkswagen. The minute that check engine light comes on, the car is toast. You're just going to be paying and paying and paying. Years ago, BMW had a sterling reputation. They made the ultimate driving machine. That was their tagline, the ultimate driving machine, and it was. And they were reliable, and they were built well, and everybody loved the BMW because you knew you were getting a good, quality, reliable, dependable car. Yes, when they broke, they were expensive, but they didn't break that often. Now, these cars are made to fail. So I use the word planned obsolescence. You cannot make money if your car doesn't come into the dealership for repairs. You cannot make money if your car doesn't break down if you are the manufacturer. The only way that you're going to make money is to plan it to become obsolete in 3 to 5 years. Or plan it so that in 3 to 5 years, somebody, some sucker like you or me, is going to go in and buy this used car because, oh, it's a BMW, it's really good. They're resting on their laurels of 20 years ago. That was the heyday for BMW. It no longer is. If you buy a 2006 to 2018 BMW that is out of warranty you are asking for trouble. You're asking for all sorts of trouble. You can look this up on YouTube, any channel. You will find issue after issue after issue with the timing rods, the timing chains. They're snapping because they have a plastic piece on the inside of the engine that's supposed to guide the timing thing. That makes no sense. Why would you put a piece of plastic inside an engine that gets warm? What's going to happen to it? Eventually it's going to degrade and fall apart over time. And the minute your timing chain goes off, your whole engine becomes a big, huge ornament on your front lawn. That's all it is. It's a paperweight. It's a big paperweight, but that's what it's going to be. So I would avoid European cars at all costs. I wouldn't go near them. That's why I didn't mention them until the end of the video here. So, this has been the Autohound. I really hope that you enjoyed meeting the dogs. If you're looking for good deals on cars like Toyota and Honda, companies, even though everybody beats on rental cars like Chevy, they maintain their stuff. Just in the used car market. Good job of it. And if you're looking for good deals on cars, they may not stand behind their product, even though they beats on rental cars, but at least you know these cars maintain their stuff. They do a good job of it. That's it from here from the Autohound. I appreciate you watching. Thanks again. Have a great day.